Do you ever just lay in your bed, struggling to sleep, thinking about all sorts of things, good or bad? No matter how much you try to quiet your mind, thoughts keep flooding in endlessly, overwhelming you with a cascade of what ifs and what could have beens. It feels like a mental marathon where the finish line is just always out of reach. In the quiet moments of our day, when the world slows down, our minds, they often speed up. We start to dissect every word, every action, every possibility. What could I have done differently? What if this goes wrong? What if, you get the point. Overthinking is a universal experience. It transcends culture, age, and circumstance. It's a common thread that weaves through the fabric of our human condition. But why do we overthink? What drives this relentless analysis? Is it fear, a desire for control, or perhaps an attempt to find meaning in the chaos of existence? Our brains are wired to seek solutions, to make sense of the world around us. Yet, sometimes this very mechanism can become our tormentor. The mind, in its quest for clarity, can create clouds of doubt and anxiety. Kierkegaard, a Danish existentialist philosopher, often explored the concept of anxiety and existential dread. He believed that overthinking is a manifestation of existential anxiety, which arises when individuals confront the boundless possibilities of their existence. Kierkegaard argued that overthinking can paralyze us, but it also has the potential to lead to profound self-awareness and authentic living if we can face our anxiety courageously. He says, anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. His perspective challenged my previous understanding about overthinking. Numerous people, including my past self, believe that overthinking is a negative occurrence. However, things don't really tend to be exclusively black or white, do they? I believe thinking is natural for human beings. Perhaps the term overthinking is a bit exaggerated. After all, can there even be such a thing as too much of thought? Asking questions and trying to get to the truth is a fundamental aspect of philosophy. Whenever we are left alone with our thoughts, whether we want it or not, this process defines our worldview. We understand ourselves better by constantly going over things we have done in the past. While it's true that we cannot change the past by any means, trying to think about what we could have done differently to achieve a more pleasant outcome could potentially develop a character that doesn't repeat the same mistakes they've done previously. Figuring out whether a person likes us or not, for instance, based on minimal information seems like a waste of time, but perhaps we sometimes need to let go of comfortable obliviousness and listen to what our mind has to say. Friedrich Nietzsche would disagree with me here. He often critiqued overthinking as a symptom of modernity, where rationality overshadows our natural instincts. He warned us that the excessive self-consciousness leads to self-doubt and inaction. Nietzsche advocated for a life full of spontaneity, suggesting that the snake which cannot cast its skin, it has to die, as well as the minds which are prevented from changing their opinions, they cease to be mind. Nietzsche definitely has a point. Sometimes thinking can make us feel trapped in a cage full of misery. Just as a snake must shed its old skin to grow, we too must let go of useless thoughts that hold us back from becoming better, focusing on the moment instead of the future or the past. Nevertheless, it's not the thoughts that might hinder our progress in life, but rather an attitude we develop towards them. Thinking itself is neither good nor bad in itself. The only way overthinking could harm our character would be if we let those thoughts dictate our actions and influence our mindset. It's quite ironic, isn't it? Here we are analyzing whether thinking too much is beneficial or not, essentially overthinking about overthinking. This cognitive loop can be a humorous reminder of our tendency to complicate simplicity. Truth is, thoughts, they come and go. We can't really control what our mind is going to conjure up during the sleepless nights. You might regret what you've done in the past, or maybe you really like someone. Perhaps you even have insomnia. As soon as the environment quiets down and you are left alone with no one but yourself to talk to, it is only inevitable that your brain sends you countless possible scenarios, random memories, or worries about the future. This flood of thoughts can often become overwhelming, making it hard to find peace. However, it is exactly in these moments of deep thought that we discover profound truths about ourselves. Throughout our lives, we are the only ones that are constantly present to ourselves. Every moment, even while asleep, we are there, so maybe seeking for ways to think less isn't the right approach. Maybe we should accept the endless train of thought. After all, being able to evaluate, to remember, to judge, to regret, all of those make us human. And more importantly, as René Descartes would conclude, we think, therefore we are.